Coach, it seems like I asked you about this last year, and I know you gave me the human joystick answer and that saying you can't make guys play the way you want them to play, but just seems like when Rams is aggressive and on his game that, and I know you got several guys that can spark this team and get the team going, but it seems like it's different offensively when he's tuned in and aggressive. You see that same thing?
Yeah, that's a on-point observation. I feel like when he's playing his best, when he's setting the tone out front defensively, they usually end up being good possessions for us. And then on the offensive end, when he's just stubborn in terms of getting in the paint. And then when he gets in the paint, really working with him on not jumping to pass, jumping to find a pass, but he certainly is better when, like most players are, when he plays off 2 feet. It's okay to jump to pass, but you can't jump and try to find. You have to have a plan when you leave your feet that way. And he's really gotten himself in better shape. You know, it's always been a struggle that way for him. You know, he was hurt last year and it took a long time to get back in shape. And then with his surgery this summer, the same thing. And I know it's easy to say, you would think that, you know, he should be in tip-top shape by now, but for whatever reason, it's just a struggle sometimes to get him where he needs to be. And he's such, like most players, he's a much better player when, you know, he's fresher and doesn't have to fight, you know, the shape type of a situation. So, yeah, we love when he's motored up and playing both ends, and you know, he gives us so much more than the stat line offers at the end of the game.
We'll go to John, second row to coach's left.
What's going on, Chris? I know you've been talking about Josh a lot. I mean, for good reason. I know you've been asked about him a lot too. But I mean, from when you knew that obviously he was going to be coming here, like did you ever think that he could make such an impact so quickly to this program, and how much of a kind of surprise has it been for you?
You know, I try not to project things like that because you just never know. You know, certainly you assign kids with the thought process being that they can impact the program in a positive way. More often than not, freshmen take a little bit longer than maybe an older transfer or even a junior college player, just because of the experience. And so you just never know. Certainly, we've been pleasantly surprised, at the least, with Josh and how he's impacted us in a very short time period. I would imagine if you asked him, he's not surprised. You know, he's one of those kids that has got great confidence, but he carries himself in a way where it's not boastful or anything like that. It just is what it is for him, and he's been preparing for these opportunities, you know, the majority of his life, at least his athletic life. And I don't think him or his family's probably surprised. And you know, did I expect him to lead us in scoring and have the kind of stretches? No, I can't sit here and say that, but it's definitely been a big shot in the arm for us.
We'll go front row to Justin.
I don't believe we talked about this over the weekend, but DJ obviously finished plus 41 on Saturday, and more often than not this year, even though when his offense isn't at his best, you guys are better with him on the court. What has he been doing, you know, without scoring all the time to make himself valuable and useful for you guys?
Yeah, DJ had a really nice game. Really happy for him, and hopefully that will, you know, boost his confidence in the near future. And just when you see that ball go through the net, you know, it's just something about it that makes you feel better when you're getting ready to shoot the next one. But like you said, you know, he provides us a lot on both ends of the court. His length, his experience, his speed. You know, he's really good in transition. And then defensively, you know, he can guard, you know, 1 through 4. And the way, you know, our scheme is right now, it's invaluable to have guys on the court that have the willingness and the ability to be able to guard, you know, mismatches, if you will. And then he just, you know, he just understands, you know, how to play, and he's been there, done that, and we got a lot of belief in him.
We'll go back to Paul and then John again.
I know we talk about this a lot with Tolu, but any kind of, not so much a time frame for when he returns to games, but what's his next step as far as getting back in practice?
He has a scan scheduled for Thursday, so the day after our next game, he'll have a scan, and at that point, I'll know a lot more in terms of when he'll transition back to practice. But I think in the next couple days, he'll be doing some 5-on-0 things with us in the half court for sure, and then maybe even in the full court. He's still not allowed to have any contact or anything like that. But he's been shooting on his own and getting some free throws in, some jump shots, and stuff around the basket, just 1-on-0. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we get a good update on Thursday, and then I'll know more then.
Go back to John.
I was gonna kind of even ask about Tolu, but in terms of attacking kind of rehab, I mean, for a guy like that who's had kind of injuries in the past, I mean, I'm sure that can be a tolling and taxing thing. How do you think he's kind of responded to it, in the last couple of weeks, especially as maybe a return could be, sooner, eventually, given what Thursday is?
Unfortunately, for his sake, he has a lot of experience in this matter, so he knows what it takes. And most of us, obviously in this room, know him fairly well. He's been around, and everybody talks about his work ethic, and it's the same that I've seen going through this injury situation with him. The first 48 hours, that was rough. He was pretty down, and took a big toll on him mentally, and certainly the surgery, etc. But ever since then, he's had an unbelievable mindset. There's a couple times when, like game day, he gets a little down because he's ready to play. He feels the energy and the vibe, and certainly you work, and then on game day, you get to go out there and perform. And them are the only days I've seen him where it kind of bothers him. But other than that, he's a model student athlete in terms of his appointments, his rehab, his willingness to come in over and over and over daily and work with Andrew Kegley, our trainer, who's done an excellent job with all of our guys, but including Tolu.
We'll go front.